Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Dorbin number 16AB Architectural Bronze Weatherstripping set. This material is in the website in several different lengths and set sizes. But this is the business end of this sort of weather stripping. It's a roll-formed sort of. It's a roll-formed material. It's 16 thousandths of an inch thick. I don't have a caliper to measure it, but what they're saying is the thickness of the bronze is 16 thousandths, 0.016. Now, if you order a single piece, it's straightforward. You're going to get whatever quantity you order in whatever length you order. There's an attribute to select nails, and let's hold off the nail conversation for a moment. If you order a set, in the extended description there will be a list of those piece lengths, the quantity of pieces and the lengths that you can expect to get when you buy a set. We'll talk about that in a moment. Let's back up and go over only the important information about this weather stripping dimensionally. So, per the description that you see, you can see that you basically have a 3/8 by 3/8 of an inch piece of material. So when we get our tape measure, 3/8 by 3/8. Okay. Now, I have found that there's a very small amount of variance in that when I use a caliper. So if I put a caliper, I'm going to put my caliper on this piece, and then I'll show you. First dimension is going to be the height, like this, with the hemmed over, rolled over part vertical. So that dimension that I'm getting, hopefully you're going to be able to see that in the camera. Yep. So heavy on 3/8 of an inch, as you can see. It's actually 7/16. Okay. Now, taking the dimension the other way, so we measured it this dimension, and the caliper says it's 7/16, or closer to 7/16. Now we'll measure it this way. And that dimension is basically the same. So it's a bit heavy on 3/8 of an inch, as you can see. (7/16). If you were able to hold off machining your door and frame prior to, or your door prior to receiving the material, that'd be good. I'm of the type that I like to have the material in hand to know exactly what I'm dealing with. Now, I'm not saying that there is a variation in this material, but there is a small amount of discrepancy between my caliper and the technical drawing from Dorbin, which is not completely unheard of, is the bottom line. All right, now let's talk about the sizes that you're going to get if you were to order a set. We already said that if you were to order a single piece, you'll get a single piece, and this is just like a 6-inch sample of the material. Okay, I've got two samples, so I can continue with the demonstration. So that's pretty straightforward. You order 10 60-inch pieces, that's what you're going to get. All right, and it's in the website everywhere from 12-inch to 96-inch, and probably 2-inch increments. I'm not exactly sure, but it'd be something like that, since this material is used for a variety of installations. Windows, obviously doors. If you order a set, and, pardon me, before we move on, if you're ordering a single piece, there is going to be a cut sheet that just shows a single piece. If you're ordering a set, what you have to know very importantly is that the quantity of pieces you're going to get is going to be dependent on the size of the set, of course, the width and height of the door, but also if it's a single door or a double door. Okay. Now, in all instances, single doors or double doors, the hinge jamb is going to get one piece of this material nailed onto the frame. If it's a hinge jamb, it gets one piece. If it is a strike jamb, it will get two pieces. If it is a header, it will get two pieces. If it is a hinge jamb, you're getting one piece. In a single door, you'll have a hinge jamb and a strike jamb. For the purpose of this example, let's say the door is 7 foot. A hinge jamb gets one, a strike jamb gets two pieces. So right there you're going to get 3 pieces, and because it's 7 foot, you'll get 3 84-inch pieces. The header, like the strike jamb, always gets 2 pieces. Let's say for this example it's a 3 foot wide. You would technically get 3 7-foot pieces and 2 3-foot pieces, because as you can see in the drawing here, the material is intended to be nested together like this. Interlock. Well, yeah, it is interlocked, sure. So the door comes in contact with the frame and interlocks just like that, providing an exceptionally positive seal, or the hinge jamb. The drawing shows how this is oriented on the lock side and the header. This flat portion here would go to the face of the frame, so my hand will be the face of the frame, okay? And then your door portion comes in and just nests just like that, giving you that positive seal. So that's going to occur either vertically for the strike jamb, or horizontally up at the header. It's the same situation regardless. Obviously now the installation of this material involves and requires a rabbet on the lock side of the door, and of course the header, because you have to make room for the weather stripping to be attached. And because you're dealing with just a small amount of material, 3/8 of an inch, the dimension that Dorbin gives, in our example a little bit more, it's really not going to interfere with your lock hardware. It's too small of an amount to really get in the way of anything. You would, of course, want to take notice of other hardware that's installed. If you were to have an overhead concealed door stop, that would serve, or an overhead concealed door closer, concealed vertical rod exit devices, those are things that would certainly impact compatibility with installing this material, so keep that in mind. Like I said, the head and the lock side has to be rabbeted on that push face, so that your door, you can see it in the drawing really, your door, in a very exaggerated sense, needs to look like that on one side. If our hinge is here and the door swings out, you'll have to achieve something like that for your pieces of weather stripping. There's the one drawn in for the door, okay, and your other one in a very exaggerated sense, so that's what you need to achieve, that sort of situation. So that's your single door. A double door is the same, except that there's no lock side. You would have 2 hinge sides, so that would give you 2 pieces, and then the head, 2 pieces, maybe 4. You probably, no, it wouldn't be 4. You're going to take, if it's a 6/0 by 7/0, you'll get 2 7-foot pieces and then 2 6-foot pieces, and you'll obviously need to cut that 6-foot piece for use on the doors where your header would be consistent. Now, what this material what you need to take into account is this: your meeting style if it's a pair of doors. This weather stripping, this set, is not going to include weather stripping for a meeting style. Okay? So, if you're doing a double door and you want to have a meeting style condition made, you're going to need to order additional pieces for that purpose. So you're going to have a pair of doors in your meeting style. And you're going to have to make a rabbet on your doors, you know, something along those lines. You know, that's quite exaggerated, but it certainly could look that way. That would be an example for a condition where you had an opposite bevel, which is somewhat uncommon but not completely unheard of. And it would certainly be more typical and common for you to have more of a condition. I'm drawing this out now. A very crude drawing. Have an interlocking situation like that as well. Obviously, what you get into with a double door, depending on square edge, beveled, parallel bevel, is you complicate the independent operation of each door when you try to install that material. So, because it's less common to include normally with a double door set, it's more common for it not to be included. That's how we have it listed. So if you're ordering a double door and you know that you're going to need meeting styles, which again is certainly less common than needing it, you'll want to order the separate individual lengths. Okay? So if you had a 6070 and you wanted meeting style, you're going to order your 6070, you get 3 7-foot pieces and 2 6-foot pieces, and then come back in and order 2 7-foot pieces alone. All right. Now, we talked about the route that you have to do to the lock side and the header of a single door, or to the header of 2 double doors, a pair of doors. The other thing you have to do is cut a slot into the hinge side of the opening, the hinge side of the door, to allow the hemmed-in edge to nest into the edge of the door. So you'll basically take a slotting cutter and make that preparation in the edge of the door. Now these tools we make available for doing this as well. We sell the tools only for achieving this sort of slot in the edge of the door. Those tools are made available under a listing of weather stripping tools, and it's quite common to actually not need that material if you're doing an installation whereby your doors are already prepped, or quite frankly, if you're installing this sort of hardware, you probably make a living as an installer and you have the tools. But we can help you with the slotting cutter as well, and we have that information listed separately under the tool category. So if you can't find that, reach out to us. We'll help you with those tools. Now, one thing that will require a little bit of thought outside of how many pieces you need you're going to get based on what you need is the attribute where you're going to select nails. You have an option to say nails not required, or you have an option to say nails required. Here's the hitch with that. This is probably, 4 ounces worth of nails. I didn't weigh this, but it's 3 or 4 ounces of nails. The nails are sold only in multiples of an ounce. Okay, this is a copper nail. I'm not sure of the exact mixture of metals inside of this, except that I can tell you that it's magnetic. And that is done obviously to make it easier to tap these in with your tack hammer. So the nails are sold in multiples of an ounce. If you were to order a set and say nails are required, the amount of nails you're going to get will be equal to or greater than the amount of nails you'll need, sold in increments of an ounce. So based on the formula that you use one nail per every 1.5 inch. So one foot piece would get 8 nails. Okay, every 1.5 inch there's a nail, and that's how our formula has been calculated. If you were to order a 3070 set, and I'm just going to do some quick math here. A 3070 set, you've got a single door, obviously, 7 foot and 2 7s. That's 21 feet there, and then you'll have another 6 feet at the head. So 7 plus 14 plus 6, 27 feet. Yes, 27 feet. Times 12, because you've got 12 inches per foot. You've got 324 inches of weather stripping. So let's 7 foot plus 14 foot plus 6 foot, 27 feet times 12, 324 inches. Divide that by 1.5. That's the spacing on the nails. That's 216 nails. So the listing of this material is going to be based on giving you at least 216 nails, and typically more. Here's why. 1 ounce of nails is approximately 65 pieces. So if I take 216 nails divided by 65, I know I've got to include 3.32 ounces, therefore 4 ounces of nails for this material. So as you're going through this, and if everything remains the same as it is now, meaning there's always going to be 65 nails approximately per ounce, and if you order a 3 foot by 7 foot piece, you're going to get 4 ounces, because we can't sell you 3.2 ounce, we'd sell you 4. You know that you're going to have some nails left over. Okay. Keeping that in mind, you should have about, 6/7 of an ounce left over of nails. So, approximately 40 nails. I'm not doing the math. If you were to need a single piece, let's say, for another project, a window, and it was going to be a 3 foot piece, you could, when you order that separate 3 foot piece, say no to the nail option, because you know you're going to have 40 nails left over from the 6070 set. So unfortunately, there's a little bit of thinking that's required in order to properly set yourself up with the amount of weather stripping, i.e. with nails. However, giving you all the information necessary, keep that in mind. You're going to have nails based on sold in an ounce. This sort of weather stripping is used very commonly in replacement situations. I have personally seen this weather stripping in the field, so to speak, after having been in service for decades, several decades. And quite frankly, the stuff doesn't wear out. It more often gets unintentionally damaged or ripped off or torn off. It doesn't wear away, quite frankly, and it seems to age with the opening and provide a really good seal. So it unintentionally gets damaged, let's say furniture coming in out of a home during a move. Or you're adding a door or doing period-specific sort of restoration work. University dormitories that I've sold this material to, most recently, in the South. We're adding an entire dormitory complex to an existing university, and they wanted it all to match everything else. Just because that's what the architect, that's what the university wanted, and that's what was being done. So you'll use it in those instances where you are doing, when you're matching existing material. But at the same time, this weather stripping is very durable. It's exceptionally long-lasting. Will certainly outlast any sort of vinyl, silicone, neoprene, or any other type of proprietary, flexible material. It's impervious to UV, and if it's not damaged and if it's installed correctly, it's a one and done sort of situation. Now, Dorbin is a full line manufacturer of all things weather stripping related, and they have a full complement of the architectural bronze material. Now, architectural bronze, being what it is expensive, and a lot of this material they have a zinc alternate as well, which is of course significantly less expensive. But great company to deal with. Dorbin has been in business for several decades, and it's a pleasure to be a distributor of theirs. If you have any questions on the Dorbin 16AB flange style architectural bronze interlocking weather stripping, or any other Dorbin product, or its application, or its installation, or its troubleshooting, please feel free to reach out to us. Thank you.